Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be making a rectangular tray with patterns in Fusion. This is the tray that we're going to be making, and this is the one that we did last time. So we're just going to basically be adding some features to this one. So one thing I wanted to start off with was making something called a derivative. So if you click derive, this is a good way to make variations of kind of basic parts. So I'm going to select that as our body and then click OK. And then you'll see that this is in a new untitled file. So basically it takes a copy of that and now you can make variations of it, and it doesn't reference back. So changes you make here will not show up on this original copy. So it's a good way to kind of have a base part and then add features to it that you might want to test out in different ways. So that's what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to go ahead and save this derivative. I'm going to call it rectangular catch tray with patterns in Fusion. And so the first thing I want to do is to go ahead and make that slot pattern on the base or on the bottom here. So I'm going to find the center point slot, select here, and then just drag it out. And I'm going to make this 30 millimeters and then make this, I think, 4 millimeters. That's what I did last time. Finish sketch. Now I'm going to extrude this out -1 millimeter, and then I'm going to modify, add a chamfer just to make it look a little better. And now we have that basic shape. And then I'm going to create a rectangular pattern, change it to features here, and then select both of these as the features. And then the axis is going to be this axis here. And then always try to remember to delete these unneeded patterns in that direction. And so now I'm going to go 7, but I want it to be symmetric. And then my distance, I think somewhere around, I should change it to spacing. Let's make it, let's say 13. So that looks pretty good to me, nice and symmetric there. So that's how you make the grid pattern on the bottom. Now we need to make this pattern around the outside, which is a little more complicated, but it's kind of similar to the one we did in the past with the circles. So I'm going to create sketch, and I'm going to make it right here, vertical to the origin here. So I'm going to sketch it right here on this edge, and kind of like with the circle, I'm going to make it where it's where the circle is tangent with this edge here. So this is on a fillet if you want to see it from the side there. And so I'm just going to cut that out, and now I need to fully constrain it. So one thing I like to do is the horizontal vertical here and here. And then let's see what else. It's probably, yeah, it's not dimensioned this way. So let's see if we can do a coincident here and on that edge, and then click finish sketch. And so now we can extrude. I clicked E on the keyboard, and now we're just going to cut all the way through, change this distance to all, and it's just going to cut all the way through. Click OK. And so now we have that first little point there. And so now the secret to making this pattern around this body is to create a pattern. We're going to do pattern on path. So select that. Our object type is going to be a feature, which is the one we just extruded. And then we're going to select the path as this path right here. And then you can kind of drag it all the way around. And one thing I do want to say here is sometimes you see how it'll snap. That's really what you want it to do, but sometimes you have to kind of pay attention to where it's snapping to. And you can also see here that, let's see if I can position it right. The snap is actually, looks like it's snapping to the back of that part. So you can kind of see that dot. You look really closely. There's a dot right there on the corner. Let's see if I can see it. It's hard to show you, but there's a dot right there where it's kind of snapping. You can see it right there, that black dot by the arrow. So that's the midpoint. So it's snapping to the edge of this. So we actually want to take this and subtract the radius of this to get it to be in the midpoint. So I'm going to say that distance minus, I think it's 0.5. Yeah, so now this is centered up. And the other thing we need to do is to flip this to where it's the other way as well. So you can click path direction and usually that works. So now we flipped it and now it's not where we want it again. So let's snap it to here. And so now it's snapping on this edge. So then we're going to say plus 0.5 because the radius is 0.5. And so I think that is where we need it. Let's see again. So it actually, let's see. So it looks like it's about, if we look at the numbers, like 141. Yeah, so I forgot that this radius is 0.4. So, or this, so this chamfer is actually 0.4. So the radius is actually 0.4, not 0.5. So that's where I was messing up. So click OK. And so now we have our cutout there and then here, but we want to make a lot more than that. So we leave that same number, but we just change the quantity of them. So let's try like 40 maybe and see how that looks. And so you can kind of use different numbers here. I think I used 80 last time. And then I would recommend changing this to optimized. So that usually works a little better. And then let's see if it works. All right, so now we have that. And so I only do half at a time because it ends up just being easier to make everything symmetric. But you can try to do it all the way around. The issue though is if you do it all the way around, sometimes it's hard to figure out exactly how far off you need to make this to make it symmetric. So I usually just do half and then mirror it. So I'm going to create a mirror and then I'm going to select the features as the original extrusion and then the path that I just made. And then the mirror plane is going to be this plane. And so now we flipped it over, click OK. Well, that worked last time I did it. Maybe let's try a few less patterns. So maybe let's try 60. And then create a mirror again, features, and then we're going to select these two again. Hopefully this works this time. Oops. And let's just make it optimized. There we go. So a lot of times if it fails, you just need to change it to optimized. I'm going to try 80 again and see if it'll work. Didn't realize I didn't pick optimize on that other one the first time. Yeah, there we go. So now we have our pattern container. So hopefully that helps. The big thing is to just realize that you can pattern on a path and then this is how you make the slides. I think this kind of makes a nice little feature in the bottom. It's pretty common to see stuff like that in containers. So hopefully this is helpful and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching.